Perfect. All right. I am here with Dr. Travis Rodman, who is one of my clients and actually one of my original clients. I think you're the second or third person to come on when I got rocking. And so his situation has been quite a bit different than most chiropractors that come on. Um, and so Travis, like, kind of share like what was going on in your clinic when you came on and what we've had to navigate through and kind of how all that's worked.
Yeah. So I think about I was maybe about 1 month in when we started coaching to this ordeal that I was dealing with, which was a car crashed into the front of my office. So when that happened, there was obviously a lot of stuff in the air. I didn't really know how to handle it, and at the time I was with another coach, and I just wasn't kind of getting the direction that I wanted through the situation. And so I saw one of your Facebook posts and called you up, and you guys got it down. He already has a plan from day one of how we're going to handle this situation and how we're going to move forward. So I just really appreciated that about having that really clear idea of what to do. And it was unique to me because my situation was obviously
Yeah.
unique. And
Right.
my previous coach wasn't doing that for me. So I really
Right.
appreciated that when I came aboard.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is like we kind of had more one-on-one game planning, right? A little bit more intimate and with your specific situation, and dove in a little bit more specifically with what you needed because that's a unique situation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was very unique, obviously. And yeah, I think everything was obviously tailored to that. It needed to be for what was happening. And whereas I think things might have gotten lost in the past, you had just a very clear, like, okay, here's what you need to do in order to get to A, to B, to C, to
Right.
D, all these steps in between. We were guiding it out and drafting it out as a plan to really
Yeah.
get things done and to set it up for success when things are getting repaired. And so,
Good.
um, fast forward to today, we're at that point. Basically, this week I'm going to get back into my office, which is great. But to have the level of confidence that I have, I don't think I would have had that in the past. And that's kind of what coaching with you has given me. It's given me just a level of like ease and confidence where I just feel like I got this.
Yeah. And so it actually turned out, and what we figured out is like normally a car crashing into your practice right after you start would be like catastrophic, but it actually worked out as much of a pain in the ass as it was for a while. It actually worked out to be better because you're going to get some new equipment and maybe a new front desk and stuff out of it because of insurance and some settlement stuff and being out of there and lost income. We're actually going to be able to invest some of that back in the business to make even more money. So there ended up being some good to it.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally good. Um, in the end of things, I was able to. I think I was able to reevaluate certain things about my practice. So I had some downtime, which I probably wouldn't have had in the, if I was in the
Mhm.
thick of it. And in that downtime, I was really able to figure out, okay, what can I do now that's going to help me set my practice up for success and set me up for success to build the practice that we want moving forward.
Yeah.
And that comes both with just being able to have that stagnation, but also to have somebody that I'm talking with pretty much every week and to bounce those ideas off of. That really helps with that too.
Yeah, and I think until you've experienced all these waters in practice, it's great to have somebody in your corner. I don't think you need somebody in your corner forever in practice, but as we start going through these things, especially as they're in the beginning getting going until you get a certain level, there's quite a bit of value to be able to just have somebody on speed dial and go, hey man, freaking car crashed through my office. What do I do? Insurance wise, settlement wise, rebuilding. Do I make it different? Do I make changes? What about adding an x-ray? What about a new front desk? What should the dimensions be? How should it be laid out? How do we go over care plans up front if we're going to do it up there? Like just all these things to navigate. And it's like after you've had enough reps and we got it down, we just talk less and less and less as we're going. We're not to that point yet, but we'll get to that point where we only talk every now and then. But right now there's a lot going on. So it's just good to be able to talk, have somebody, in your corner. That's, I've never had a car crash through my clinic, but, it's good to have somebody in your corner that can navigate you through those situations and what to do. So, you've done some of the marketing stuff that we've done, and like what other value have you seen with things being a little bit more one-on-one?
Well, as far as marketing goes, I mean, I've been implementing some of the stuff that you've recommended, which was like the food drive. We did a Black Friday special.
Yeah,
and
even though you're in the situation that you're in like a little temporary space, and it's not really the ideal situation for you blowing marketing stuff up, because you're going to be transitioning back into a clinic, but still had some success with it. So, which is like incredible. And you did better than a lot of people did that are in their normal clinic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that shows that the stuff that you say works. And I think, a big kudos to the food drive. People really, really appreciated that. I had people coming out of the woodwork just to come in to see me. And they just had so much appreciation. And I recognized in that moment that, I was being a leader in the community rather than just kind of sitting idly by. And so I really appreciated that about it too. But, I think one of the good things that I think that I'm really happy about was actually the care plans. Setting up a new care plan, and any kind of referrals that have come in, or new patients, they all sign. It's just like my sign rate has gone like basically to 100%.
Wow.
And I think that's given me the confidence that when I go back into the new or the original office, and everything's back to the way it is, that my sign rate's just going to go through the roof. And that's something that I think is really, really cool.
Yeah. Once you're in your bigger, what I'm saying, once you're in your, if your sign rate is that great when you're in your temporary space, when your other space gets fixed, we're probably going to have to raise prices because so many people will be signing up. We'll fill it up, and then, we'll probably have to take prices up and maybe add services and so on and so forth once that happens. So it's only going to go up and up. And so can you briefly touch, last thing, on maybe something you were doing in your care plan before you switched the way that I recommended, that was different and seemed to help a lot? Is the explanation, the way it's laid out, pricing, or what kind of was it that really helped take that sign rate up?
Yeah. I think I went from switching from trying to sell somebody a care plan to being the doctor and just telling them what they need. Right. The pricing is just secondary. So it makes it easy when you just tell somebody what they need, and then you're just kind of just sharing with them how to break it down on how to take care of it. Because I do have to do that still. That's just makes it so much easier. And I think people see that when you just give them options on ways to take care of it, but you're just ultimately there because you're telling them, hey, this is what you need. Let's figure out a way to take care of it. That just made my sign rate go through the roof. Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is you just got away from selling it to just, here's what we need to do. You can do it if you'd like to. And when you take that sales pressure off people, they actually sign at a higher rate. And see, a lot of coaching and management companies, it's all about the sale of that care plan. What can we say? How can we manipulate our words to get them to sign? How can we say this in the consult to lead them up? How can we pre-educate them to sign, and all this stuff that it's like, it's all about you and your sale, instead of just, here's what your problem is, here's why you're experiencing this, and here's how I would fix this, and here's how much it would cost. And you could do it or not, and the choice is up to you. And when they have a choice and they're not backed into this sales corner, it's going to go a lot better, and you're going to get a better committed patient. But also too, at the end of the day, it makes practice so much easier on us, because we're not thinking about day one, day two as a sales process. We're thinking of it as an actual process of, we're going to lay out a specific plan to get this patient to get this patient better, and they can do it or not. And then if they don't, we may have some other options. And if not, we just move on because our services weren't right for them, even though it's right for everybody. Some people may not think it's right for them, and we just move on. And that's how practice should be. And the example I always use is like the dentist or anybody else. He's just like, you need a root canal. Here you go. The girl up front will tell you how much it costs, and he moves on to the next patient. And so like, that's how chiropractic needs to be, because we're so good at what we do. Here's the problems with your spine, your nervous system, your health, your disc, your knee, your shoulder, whatever it is. Here's what I would do about it. Here's a treatment. Here's how much it would cost. We can roll or we can not roll. Okay. And I think when you do practice that way, it just ends up being much better. But, kudos to you, man. It's like, you're such a great client. You're easy you listen, and the clients that listen are the ones that get the best results. Even in our resource page, every now and then I see people asking questions about, hey, what do you do in your office for this or that? When it's like, I've laid out exactly how you're supposed to, do it already. And we just find that the people that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We make your practice you, not me, in my coaching program. We tailor it to what you're doing. We let you execute it, and we make changes as needed, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, it's already, just do that. And that's what I found out in practice. Was I met all the multi-millionaire guys, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You all have different offices, but you're doing the same thing. I'm just going to go do that, And so that is, when you have a good coach, I think that's how it should be. And so kudos to you, man, for listening and implementing stuff. I'm excited to see where the practice goes. I think we're going to instantly double or triple where you were. You're going to need two CAs very quickly. Collections are going to go up, and it's just going to be an awesome thing, because your office is laid out mostly correct, and it's really nice looking, and we've got some cool stuff in there. It matches you and your personality. So like, I think all the factors once you go in there are going to be really, really good. And we'll be happy that the car crashed into it. Like, man, if the car hadn't crashed into the office, I may not have this front desk. Or if the car hadn't crashed into the office, I may have not been stressed out enough to reach out to Warren, or whatever the blessing might be for that. So that's pretty cool, man. So sincerely appreciate you. Thanks for testimony. Any last minute words?
If you're on the fence, just do it.
Yeah. Yep. Just like we say with our care plans, it's up to you. You can do it or not. Here's what I do in practice. You can do it or not. And then I move on.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.